Okay.
Right, good afternoon. Welcome back to Voices of Courage Asia channel. For those of you who are tuning in with either from YouTube or the podcast or the Facebook Live, remember to subscribe to our channel, like and follow us, right? Because we are coming on weekly to share topics that are imperative to our personal growth and development, right? So topics that are very close to our heart in personal development.
Yes.
Okay. And today we are going to be talking about habits, right?
Yes.
Habits. Mm.
But before we talk about habit, I have a habit of introducing myself. Hi, I'm Anita. I'm from Class Living. I want you, I want you to make a habit to know that that's my name. And my habitual friend is.
Lilian. Yes, I forgot to introduce myself.
Yes. And we are both from Class Living. Especially, this channel is especially dedicated for our boot camp, which is Transforming Courage, happening in April 2022. So we're going to give you a
Yeah.
snippet, a very short snippet, this every Thursday, to give you a snippet of what to expect and how we can journey with you and how we have journeyed also and benefited from the boot camp. So Lilian is one of the trainers, and I was one of the faithful participants that happened this year. So let's talk about habits. Lilian, what
Yes.
is the first habit when you do when you wake up in the morning?
First habit before I open my eyes, when my brain is awake, the first thought or first whether it's not audible but it's in my thoughts. So it's the first thought is good morning, Holy Spirit. Good morning, God. Yeah.
For me, my first habit when I mentally awake is automated toilet first. No, it is regardless where I am, it is
Mm-hmm.
second nature. It's not thought about. It's just very automated. That habit,
Right.
yeah,
Um,
just like you, right? Very automated is very natural. So I think today we're going to talk about cultivating habit that is very natural, that is very natural to us, that has to be part of our lives, that we don't have to struggle about it. What do you think?
I think it I think it becomes natural only after a period of time. After that period of cultivation,
Yes,
then it becomes natural. It becomes
yes,
your reflex, right?
yes.
Yeah. So beginning while we start working on a new habit, it is tough. It is
Yep,
tough and it may seem very unnatural,
yep.
right? But over time, and we know that science actually supports that, for those who study about how the brain works and all that, yeah, we know that it requires time to cultivate that habit.
Yes.
Okay. Mm. So, Anita, you have prepared something, a video clip to share, right?
Yes, I
To
have. And this
mm,
is when it comes to the word habit and books. I cannot think of anybody else but the very bestseller, multi billion. I don't know how many copies he sold. Stephen Covey. Okay, Stephen Covey wrote Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, and after his subsequent. So this is a very cute videography thing, a doodle thing, which is we're gonna only talk about two of these habits. He had seven. We don't have the time, so let's talk about the first habit. Okay, let's.
yeah. For those of you who want to watch the entire video, we have actually also credit the video content creator
Yes,
with his link in our description. All right, so you can
yes.
watch the full video at your own time. But here we go with the two that we have selected.
Okay, the first one.
Imagine you're at a funeral, but this one's different from all the funerals you've ever been to. You're standing over the casket and you see yourself. What do you have to say about yourself? This is one of the most powerful questions you could ask. Are you doing the things in your life which are aligned with what you want to be able to say? Do you want to say that you are a good spouse? If that's the case, how does coming home and instantly being negative towards your spouse affect that? Do you want to be remembered as a person who added value to society? If that's the case, are you doing the things that will allow you to say that, or are you scared of failure and choose comfortable mediocrity instead? Almost every one of us will have to readjust how we live when we ask this question. Habit number 2 is begin with the end in mind. Now, if I were to ask you, what are the most important things to you?
Okay, begin with the end in mind.
Begin with the end in mind. I don't know
Yeah.
about the younger generation, but I can speak for myself. I do not know, not say do not know, but YOLO, okay, you only live once, meaning that you just live for now, you just do it now. Um, Maybe in my generation, we tend to have the end in mind, almost like as mothers, right? We want to make sure our children, we give the possible best education, best nourishment for them so that they will, how do you say, hopefully grow up to be good citizens. And for me, it's a very simple, the end in mind, that they'll be good people, they contribute to society and stuff like that. But a lot of time, I feel, especially as mothers or as women, especially, we have to begin with the end in mind for other people, for our children, for other people. But I do not know about you, Lilian. For me, in the beginning, I never had the begin with the end in mind for myself. What's your
Mm.
thoughts?
Yeah, definitely also is a habit that needs to be cultivated. Yeah, I think this is also a growth journey. Um, we don't naturally, unless you grow up with a family and your parents, have been cultivating that habit,
Hmm.
right? To always, that's why I want to go back into parenting, being a mother, being a parent or father is so important in cultivating healthy habits to our children. So if our parents, like my parents, if they
Hmm.
don't, uh, I don't remember, maybe there are occasions, but not regularly, that my dad or my mom would remind me to have the end in mind
Yeah.
in their own way, in their own
Yes.
language,
Yes.
yeah. So I mean, if we don't grow up in that kind of family culture or habit, then naturally we don't think about that. We
Yeah.
just like do, and then there's even a Chinese saying that goes 船到桥头自然直. It's like when you get there, then you decide what to do, lor.
Yeah. There's a saying in English. The English saying is,
Uh-huh.
"We will cross the bridge when we get there."
Yes, yeah. So
But
that's
again,
exactly the same meaning.
yeah. But for me, I think agreeing with you, right? Our parents do not know how to. Let's say do not know, but they do what they can. They always say, "Study hard" is their way of, I think, reminding us to have the beginning in the end in mind, right? Begin with the end in mind. Study hard, work hard. Don't drink, don't smoke. You know that sort of authoritative
Because
thing.
because their end goal is that they want us to grow up as good
Yes.
people, right?
Yes.
With good morals, with good habits. Therefore, they tell us what not to do,
Yes. Exactly.
what to do, and what not to do, right?
Exactly. So,
Mm.
but now I think in our generation, or we are the ones starting uh, middle of our life, starting to use technology. So we are equipped with a lot of resources, a lot of information, and we realize having the habit, changing a habit of having the begin with the end in mind is very important, because the video we just saw is that it's talking about us, right? How we need to have, how when in our life, actually the kind of habit we have is that, okay, when I end my life, when towards the end of my life, how I want to be remembered, what kind of
Yeah,
legacy I want to live, right?
yeah. When I did this activity from Stephen Covey's, this is part of his habits, right? His
Yeah.
7 effective habits, and he has this activity, to actually get us to write down, what other people would be saying about you,
Yes.
or what you would be saying. What would you like others to be saying about you? Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
So writing your own eulogy is
Yes.
yes, yeah.
I
So that was a very challenging activity to do, actually.
Okay. If I may
Mm.
ask, if it's not too sensitive, what's the one thing you wrote?
I think it was a very simple. I mean, initially it was challenging because we're still searching, right? So we're still searching, we're still like figuring ourselves out, we're still
Mhm.
discovering ourselves. So for those who attempt to do this activity, you may find it very challenging at the beginning. And it may take a while. It may take a
Okay.
while. Yeah, and it develops over time. So as
Okay.
we progress in our personal development, in our self-discovery, and getting more clarity in what we want to do with our lives and what our life stands for, what is the
Yeah.
message, yeah, then it becomes clearer and clearer.
Of course.
And I think by now, with everything that I'm doing, with everything that I'm saying, I think it is pretty clear, what I hope, primarily, what I hope my children would see me and learn from me.
Okay.
And that is to live a life of courage and love.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, it's really begin with the end in mind, right? So your end is you want your children to see that you have lived a life of courage and love, and you've imparted that into them. So I want the ladies or the people out there to think now. I mean, if you have a moment, okay, I want you to look back in your life, where you have been and how far you've come, or how little you have come. Like for me, it's how little I've traveled to be where I am today. And at that one point, I remember before I met Lilian was at end 2019. I look back and I go, my goodness, for me, I felt I've not achieved my goal. I've not achieved my dream. I've done much, but I've not achieved what I personally want. I've done a lot for the kids. I've done a lot for the family. I've done a lot for the people around me. But what about myself? You're so busy. I was so busy helping everybody, I forgot to invest in myself. So when I had that moment to reflect and go, oh, maybe Anita, give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to invest in yourself. So when I gave myself permission to have, to begin with the end in mind, and things change. My mindset changed. My opportunity came. When a student is ready, the teacher will be there, right? It's always like that. So again, now, having the begin with the end in mind, then what I did was I realized that, okay, what's the end I want? 5 years time, 2 years time, 1 year time, whatever, right? What's the end I want in mind? And I started working towards it. And I realized that the people around me didn't despise me. My children say, you don't have enough time for me. In fact, they were happier. I wasn't hovering around. You can feel them breathing. Feel me breathing down their neck, like, ooh, what are you doing? Creepy. So yeah, and that catapult me to something else, to what I want to do next, right? So that helped, giving yourself permission. That was the first thing I allowed myself. So again, I want to encourage people listening is that, first thing is give yourself permission to invest in yourself. Lilian.
Yeah. Going back to the begin with the end in mind also reminds us. I mean, this short phrase alone, right, can trigger a lot of thoughts. And one of them would be, you can't give what you don't have, right? And so you would want to work on yourself. So it is not selfish to work on yourself, to invest in yourself.
No, it's not.
I think this is a myth. This is a limiting belief, a self-sabotaging belief that needs to be teared down.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't mean that, okay, people tend to, there may be people that tend to misread this or misinterpret this as that if I take care of myself, if I spend time on myself, I spend on myself, I'm being selfish, taking care of yourself is not equivalent to being selfish.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
it's not.
Yes,
It's not.
because imagine you are a cup, and if you're empty, how are you going to pour into other people's life, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's constantly being filled, and of course you want to find out where the source is, right? The source of your love, and like in my instance, like I know that I want to live a life of love and courage, right? So where do I find my love and courage? I have my own source, right? And
Yes.
my source is, God in heaven, right? And
Yes.
and that's why the very first thing in the morning is to seek Him. I need to plug into the source in order to get charged,
True.
right? So that I can give. Otherwise, my own battery will be depleted.
Yeah.
Within living in this world where it's so trying, with different funny characters around you, I think it's very, very trying.
Yeah.
My battery, my love and courage will get depleted very fast
Yeah.
if I don't plug into a source,
Yeah.
right? So again, coming back to, you know, um, investing in yourself, working on yourself, spending time with yourself.
Mm.
It is not selfish. You're not swinging to the extreme to, me, I, myself.
Oh no, 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 no,
That is to the extreme,
no, no, no.
right? Yeah.
And
So yeah, if you want to begin with the end in mind, at the end of the day, what do people say about you? What do you want to be, to see yourself, your own urology, right? What do you want to write see in the obituary?
yes.
And that would, that then, work backwards. And
Yep.
that's where you cultivate those habits that will lead you to become the person that you envision yourself to be.
True.
Yeah. Mm.
So well said and well put. Should we go on to the second habit?
Yes, let's do that.
Let's go to the
The
second
second one
habit.
that we have picked out from the video.
A man has been trying to cut down a tree for hours, and after a while his neighbor can't take it anymore, goes over and says, "You know, if you sharpen the saw, you'll be able to cut it down faster." And the man replies, "But sharpening the saw is going to take time." Now, we might laugh at this story, but we do the same thing all the time. We can't find 30 minutes a day, 4 times a week, to go to the gym. Our health deteriorates to a point where we're physically incapable of being effective. We can't read a book for 15 minutes a day and mentally stimulate ourselves. No, these things take too much time. And then we have the audacity to ask for little tips and tricks on how to be effective. It's like telling your engineer, "Don't worry about the foundation, where can we get the magic bricks that will float in the air?" Habit number 7 is sharpen the saw. And these are the 7 highly effective.
All I can say is
Yep.
ouch. Ouch.
Yes, sharpen the saw.
Sharpen the saw, and the saw is yours. The saw is your life. If you need another analogy, it's your life. You cannot find 30 minutes, but you can find 30 minutes on social media. You cannot find 15 minutes, but you can find 15 minutes to gossip on WhatsApp. Example. We're not saying everybody's like that. So it's really perspective, right? It's really, oh, I don't have time. I don't have money. I don't have the resources. Seriously? Let's look hard. Do you have time? Do you want? Just now you have the begin with the end in mind. Do you want that? Do you want that bad enough? If you want that bad enough, you will sharpen your sword.
Yeah, I think in that video, what you could see was the person, trying to cut down the tree, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he was working so hard. It was so it only he only stopped thinking about it when it is painful enough. When it gets so painful, that's where you stop and think about it.
Yeah. But even though it was so painful, when he stopped to think about it, when a solution was given to him, to him,
Yeah.
he said, oh, too much time. Too much time to sharpen the saw. But he thinking about it, if the saw is blunt, he spent even more time and energy and frustration and mental health and everything to chop down that tree that he needs to chop down.
Mhm.
But it takes too much time. No. It takes too much money. No. I cannot find time. No. Uh,
I I think it is convenient to stay in the comfort zone.
yes.
It is convenient to be familiar with what you have been doing,
Yeah.
and do things that requires less effort.
Yeah. Yeah. Why suffer, right? Why come talking about why join a boot camp? Transform with Courage Bootcamp. Why join it? Why pay money, and join something you're not familiar with? That's life, isn't it? Isn't that life?
Or
We want to grow.
rather, and also that why pay money to join a boot camp that looks deep into yourself, that you are going to uncover things that may be
Yeah.
painful to address. And again, that is only focusing on looking at the pain, right? So likewise, if you say that you want to lose weight, for example, and actually most people, we have the basic knowledge of what to do
Yep.
in order to lose weight, right?
Yep.
We know about, we need to eat right, we need to have some movements or exercise,
Yep.
right? We all know that, but why don't we do that?
Exactly. And we all know, right? We got to think positive. We got to feed our mind with the right thing. We got to mix with the right people. We got to get connected with the positive people. And get attached to positive input. But why are we not doing it? So
So which is why at the boot camp we will be addressing all these things, right?
yeah,
And it requires hard work. It is not a
yeah,
magic pill.
yeah. Or the
Yeah,
magic brick, right?
nothing.
That can build the
Yeah,
building in the air.
and a magic wand.
Yeah.
It is not a magic wand. Yeah,
No, it's not. It's hard
transformation.
work. It's hard work.
You know, the truth be told, transformation requires time, effort, right? It requires your hard work. It requires your commitment. It may inconvenience, it cause inconvenience in your life.
Yes.
But again, like we mentioned just now, it is how painful it is for you right now. Is it painful enough for you to really want to see the change?
Yes.
I take one example for myself. I used to skip meals, because work was more important. I put work in priority versus my own health,
Yes.
and I used to skip meals so often that I ended up with gastric pain, a gastric problem. Yeah. So I mean, whatever is damaged is damaged. So that's why now I it was so painful, that I couldn't even function. Right. I had to depend on medication to ease the pain. So that woke me up to, okay, I better look at my diet. I want to cultivate a healthy eating habit, and
Yes.
I must not skip my breakfast. So
Okay.
now I don't skip my breakfast. Breakfast is like the first meal that I must take. I can skip my lunch, but I can't skip my breakfast.
Okay.
Yeah. And another example was when I had a disc bulge, between my lumbar 4 and 5. Uh, it was so bad. It had to get so bad that I can't even dress myself. Then I was willing to go and see a doctor, but by then I don't just see a GP anymore. I had to see a specialist. I had to go for the MRI scan and do all that, months and months of therapy and treatment, and dependent on medication. And that amount of money spent
And time.
is a in time, yeah, it's a lot more painful actually.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but you see, it had to. Why wait until it had to come to a point where it is so painful that, thankfully, in my case, I was able to salvage it, right? I was able to put
Mm-mm-mm.
things back in order. Imagine when it comes to a stage where you couldn't put things back in order.
Yeah.
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 It's just like you are so used to driving. You just like to drive, or you had the habit of challenging people. I don't know. Yeah.
Mm.
and you speed so much until that you crash, and you had to crash in order to like take note of, like, hey, I better take note of my speed here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can give different
Yeah. There's a lot of
analogy
analogy.
and metaphor.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. It's true.
But the point, that I want to drive across is, don't wait until
It is
the
too
pain
late.
the pain has come to a point where it is self-destructive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, if you self-destructive to yourself, a lot of people say, "Oh, yeah, I only hurt myself. I don't hurt other people." But think about it.
Oh,
Think about it. Your sphere of influence. You think so?
yes.
You don't hurt other people. Your children are watching. Your spouse are watching. Your family is watching. Your colleagues are watching. You. Sometimes people say, "Oh, I'm just speeding down the highway. I don't hurt anyone." What's the worst? I hurt myself, Lord. What if you kill someone and you live?
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah.
I know it's very morbid, but why I think Lilian and myself are so passionate about it because we have attended the boot camp and we have seen lives, my life also, and lives of other women who have joined us transform, and we've heard nothing but positiveness about it. So again, being passionate to see another woman life change or another woman's life saved, it became the driving force for doing this. it,
Yeah.
it's just, I mean, I mean, you can get all the information you want from our website, Class Living Transform and Courage Bootcamp website, but I feel that it's really, really a small fee to pay to change not only your life, but the life of the people around you. Seriously, I think
I,
sometimes, yeah, it's
for
very,
me, I just feel that, don't wait until you come to a point where, enough is enough. Yeah.
yeah,
It's, I mean, when I talk about this, I feel like, there's this healthy or anger,
yes,
towards like, come on,
no,
you want to, how much longer do you want to be in the pain, living in those pain? Are you happy being in pain? I mean, yeah, I
yeah,
think that's a question that, that our audience have to seriously
yeah,
think about it, right?
yeah,
It's like I always mention, courage is a choice, right? It's a choice
yeah,
to take action in the face of fear, whatever fear that you may be facing that is paralyzing you from taking that action.
yes,
But also, change requires intentional action. You want to see the change? Intentional action is required.
yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah. And the intentional action now is for you to actually go to our website, have a read for yourself. There are testimonials there. Have a read for yourself and find, and also book a call with us, with Lilian especially. If you want to find out more. Okay, and it's time to change for the good. I mean, hear me sigh, right? Painful. Yeah,
Yeah, sometimes you just get very frustrated, hearing people around you saying, no, I want to change, I want to change. And then nothing is being done about it. No action is taken.
yeah,
It's just all talk, talk, talk,
yeah,
And the worst thing is they say they want to change, but instead of taking action, they're complaining and they're whining and complaining. Sometimes it just drives me crazy. Yeah.
anyway.
But that's another
That
topic.
is another topic. This topic for next year. Drive you crazy. Okay. On that note, we have some announcements, as I did mention. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, it's the boot camp. Please click onto the class living link, which is already in the description. And that's the Transform with Courage boot camp. Go to class living website, our website, to find out more and book a call with us so that we can talk to you, have a little bit more chat, and to find out, if the boot camp is for you. Definitely for you. Definitely. Yeah. Next, also monthly empowerment meeting happening this coming November 30th of November, 6:30 via Zoom. Go to Women of Courage Asia, book it, and get the Zoom link. Lilian will be speaking. She's closing the year with none other than Karen. Okay.
Karen, yes,
Yes. So
together with Karen. And I have a special
yes, she
guest.
has a special
Yeah,
guest
a
that will
special
come and talk
guest.
to you in Mandarin. Okay. So do that. Join us. Okay. We also have a Courage Business Network. So if you're a businesswoman also searching for a safe community of just women, we're meeting again in Mind Champs and Marine Parade on the second
Marina Square.
Marina Square. Marina Parade. Marina Square Mind Champs HQ. Happening at 6:30. Also on Tuesday, that'll be on the 2nd, I believe.
7th of December.
7th of December. So
Yeah.
lots to do. You can see us every Tuesday. Yeah. And every Thursday.
We see we are providing the platforms for you, the environment for you, the opportunity for you. All you need to do is just take action
Yeah.
and create the change that you want to see for yourself.
Yes.
All right. These platforms are all here. You know, we are here to support. But if you don't take the action and do something about yourself, for yourself,
Yep.
then nothing's going to happen, right?
Yep.
Be it for your life or be it for your business.
The ball is
Okay?
in your court.
The ball is in your court.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, come just be immersed in the environment of courage and love, right? Here is all about courage and love. So,
Yep.
yep, and we love you and we hope that you will take action and, you know, step out with courage.
Yep.
And that's all for this episode. We will
Okay.
see you next week.
Bye.
All right. Lilian here, signing off.
Anita, time out. Shoot a hoop.